Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. I apologize for Saturday. It snuck up on me, so we are going to do today what we were going to do on Saturday. And I think for this upcoming Saturday, I know my paper pumpkin will not be here. Oh, and for May, Robin Dittman, get a hold of me. I left a message underneath the May YouTube description for I think it was called Mountain Majesty's one. So please get back to me there, or go ahead and email me at cindykoots, COUTTS, at gmail.com, or, anywhere on Facebook under Cindy B Designs, Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. So we've been working with the Painterly Pears Suite Collection. That was just released at the beginning of July. And I've been having a lot of fun with this. Like I said, it just screams Christmas to me. And so we made this card, I think, last week. Or no, this one. I went out this one to do that, just changing it a little bit. This one was on Instagram not too long ago. And then I just made this from the Suite Collection, brought in a couple other things. And then this is the one I wanted to make on a Saturday, but we're going to do this today, or at least something pretty darn close to it. And check out my other videos. I've gone through the Suite Collection there several times, just showing you all the designer series paper, what comes in the suite, and things like that. So with this one, I'm still sticking really close to the Suite Collection. But I did bring in some other online exclusive products, such as, let's see, this little text right here. That comes from Elements of Text, and we'll be using all that today in our card. These were cut out from the designer series paper. This tag is from Greetings of the Season. And we have 2 embossing folders that we're using. This stamp set is also Greetings of the Season. I forgot to put the stamp set in our product list, but the dies are there. Just make sure if you pick it up, you want to do it bundled. So our sentiment comes from Greeting of the Seasons. And I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that soft seafoam card stuck there yet. I brought in something else, but we're going to wing it. And then that mini corrugated embossing folder, that is also a new online exclusive project or product. I'm going to keep that forever, by the way, because I love that. And then just a couple pieces of designer series paper. And I think we're good to go. Before we get started, again, I really want to thank you so much for that 60, I turned 62 June 18th, and I've got everybody basically helping me de-stash. If you order anything over $62, I'm going to send you 62 worth of product from my stash. And I talk with my hands, and you kind of miss that on my regular videos, or where I used to do the voiceover. So I'm like trying to stand back from the phone a little bit so you don't see it. So yeah, keep that up, because that's going to go on until Saturday, I think, it's the 18th. So yeah, let's finish that up this weekend. So, definitely get it in by the 19th midnight. And check out July Card Club over on the blog. And what else? I think that is it for now. Paper Pumpkin, you want to get that in. July is already closed, but definitely for August. And I have a newsletter coming out about that later on this week. I did cut up a lot of the things to keep it short, but I'm going to walk you through it, okay? So again, we're doing something like this a little bit. I'm going to put that right up there. So we're going to have our A2 top folding, very vanilla card base here, and this is thick. And so when you get a piece of paper, you just cut that in half. Oops. Now I know to turn it over. At 4 1/4, and then score at 5 1/2, and then you have your top folding card. Now for this one here, I have soft seafoam there in the background, but I thought I might change it to soft seafoam. And then I stamped on this painted stripes, which I just love this. I love standalone sets like this that you can just do whatever with. And I stamped it off once in a soft seafoam ink. I decided I'm still going to keep this exposed brick and layer that on, and pop everything else on. Or see, because I've already done that, so I know how that's going to look. or pop that Mossy Meadow Designer Series paper on, and then do that, and then layer everything else up. So before we put this together, what do you say that we, go back and do this again once we get all of our stamping done, and then wing it from there. I'm going to pull all that aside. Okay, and then we've got our tag here from Greetings of the Season. And I need this scratch paper because I have got to pull in our elements of text. And with this card here, I use this and just stamp down a couple times. With what we're doing today, I'm going to use this larger one, and I want to stamp it off, once. So I'm going to open up our soft seafoam ink pad there. You know what? Maybe I did stamp it off once because that was 1, 2, or twice. Let's see. I can always ink it up again, right? If I don't like it. Okay, 2 will work. Well, let's do 3. You know what? Might as well while we're here. 2. So we'll ink that up again. And I'm trying to be careful about how I put things down, because I noticed that the sound is, pretty sensitive on this. And I don't want it startling you. So I'm going to get that there, make sure everything's lined up, and just kind of go like right there. And I'm happy with that. And I'll clean it up later because that's a really light color. So it's going to be okay. And then I'm going to pull in this little image here from Perfectly Pears. And that is going to be stamped off once, and then just kind of fill in the areas a little bit where I don't have any green, and maybe areas where I do have some green, just to add a little bit of interest. Okay, I'm good with that. I'll see how simple that is. Now, before we're going to finish this up, you know what? Before that, I do want to stamp our sentiment down, because that's going to be in Secret C from Greetings of the Season. And I've noticed that to be a really fussy color. Like you want a heat set it kind of color. And I've said this before, it's become like my go-to black instead of Memento. So I want to let's go ahead and get this Merry Christmas laid down, or maybe another sentiment. No, this is good. And I've got this scratch piece of soft seafoam cardstock there, and I'm going to peek and make sure you can still see me, and you can, but just not my big head. I'll pull over my card here. And I want to get that down. I'm really trying to get on top of this so it's not crooked. So that is straight. That's looking pretty good. We'll see when I pull up the lid though. Because I look at my lines. Yeah, I'm good. So we're going to get that down in Secret C ink. So I hope you guys had a good weekend. Mine was just insanely busy. They all are. They're packed from like Thursday night to Sunday night. And I mean packed. Had another boat day on Sunday. Didn't ride bikes this weekend though, because just, you have to get up super, super early in the morning to do that, or really late at night, before it gets too dark. And we have a tendency to go on really, really, really long rides too. I mean, it was like 95, 100, and the humidity was even more. And it was like one of those 4 shower days every single day, because you get full of lake water or sweat or something. And now I'm rambling. Okay, I do want to get that cleaned up because, you know, it is a fussy color. And I think that is all the stamping that we are going to do. And I need to ink my ink pad up again because I do like my sentiments darker. So, you know, next time around. And just, you know, let that dry a little bit. Okay, so how we're going to build this up, we got this, but I want to put all of this together right now. And if you're working along with me, there's a blog post that you can refer back to. There's a link under the description of this video that will have all the measurements and everything like that. But real quick, this is going to be 4 1/4 across by 2 inches. Excuse me. And that is going to go down, you know, right there. And then I want to get this here and our mini corrugated embossing folder, and then see how mine are going down rather than across. You want to rotate your embossing folder like this way, and then get that lined up. And then when you do your embossing, because I've got my machine behind me, so I'm going to take that off screen real quick. With those really thick embossing folders, you want your bottom plate here, the thick one, and then you lay this on top, and then you want plate number 4, and the same thing with the exposed brick embossing folder I did for you earlier. And since I'm rambling, Bella thinks I'm on the phone, and I'm taking this through the embossing machine out behind me, and she gets noisy because she has to be included too in everything. So you're going to hear some squeaks, because she's just a little diva, and that's what that is looking like. And then for this, I want to get my tear and tape, and then just put you know, some there at the very top. Whoa, that's not looking good. It's going to tear, I can tell. I should be able to salvage this, because that's getting tucked up under, okay? And no one's going to see it. So I'm going to cut this off. And I'm not worried too much about this little corner over here. It's going to stay just fine. And I just want to, you know, 1/4 inch or so showing at the bottom. So we're going to get all of this out of the way. I'm going to pop that down. Whoa. I'm checking my math here real quick because this is longer. Okay, it's just a teeny tiny bit longer than a 4 1/4. So I'm going to sneak that down there just as I like it. And then get this down here cut off. Okay, so we have this panel right here. Let me get that out of the way for you. The only thing I'm going to cut out after this is going to be that right there, and that's going to be at the very end. And so then I want to get this piece of designer series paper, just, you know, kind of like laid down in the middle there. And that is going to be 4 1/4, I believe, by 1 3/4. Okay, that one flying underneath something, so I just had to go grab it before I forgot where it was. Guess it doesn't really matter which way I put it down, right? We want to get this in the middle here. I wish I'd laid down a grid mat or something, but you know, we're getting there. And then we have another piece here, and this is going to be 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. get that popped down real quick. And then you want to get this centered in here, you know, pretty much top to bottom, left to right. And we are looking cute. And you know, look really cool underneath here too. Maybe just a piece of vellum. It's a little bit bigger than that, like an 1/8 of an inch. If you think you have too much secrecy down here, that's a really good way to, you know, get it separated. And then just for something weird, because, you know, I was a weird kid and everything, I want to bring in my stapler. You know, not weird, just different. And then just put like a little X down there at the bottom, and voila, that is going to be it for that panel. I'm going to flip this over and then put some tear and tape on the back of that for when we want to get that adhered down. And yeah, I use my scissors, and I tell you why, because I like the super edge-to-edge cut, even though I didn't do it on that first panel, but I knew I was going to come back in again, and it would be fine. So we're going to get that down, and I'm okay on that side. Okay, so that is going to be it for that. And then we have our tag. I should have done this a while ago, but, you know, it'll be okay because there's other stuff we can do in the meantime. These pears come from the Designer Series paper. And then we want to, you know, glue. Grab a block real quick for that. We just want to glue down our stems. That could have been a little bit of a disaster, but it worked out. And remember, when you run out of Designer Series paper too, just go in and stamp it and die cut a bunch of them, because the images are the exact same thing. Where did I put that? Okay. And while this is setting up drying, I'm going to take you back to the stamp set real quick. You can stamp these down, all right, and then just take a sponge dauber and whatever color you want and dab it around wherever you want to make it multicolored, kind of like this. You could put this, ink it up, let's say, in yellow or something, and then just grab maybe, hypothetically, like a strawberry slush, and just, you know, roll the stamp around it and get rock and roll technique. Very old one, but I haven't seen it used for a long time. Okay, so that got down there too, or, you know, it got down. I'm going to flip these over and pop. And let's hope the glue doesn't stay there. It did not. I want to put stamp dimensionals on the back of this. So I'm just going to grab some regular size ones this time around. And use like that little corner there at the top to kind of help hold everything down. And you know, I do kind of want something a little bit more on the back of that. I should have cut them in half. And I do that a lot. Because even the mini, when you cut the full-size ones in half compared to the mini ones, they're still bigger than mini ones. And you can mix and match them too, which I do all the time because they're the same height. So you don't have to worry about that. Whoa, okay, I want to use this guy, let's say right about there. And I guess I will pull out the mini guys for these two little leaves over here. So this card is simple, easy to make. A lot of times for the back panel, if I don't stamp it, I like to run it through using one of our cover plates. I'm going to get this out of the way. And then I want to pull in our textured nose dies. And I am going to peek to see if you can see. Yep. And then get that lined up on there. You know, top to bottom, left to right. And then turn around and take that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Either that, or just drag my mini one over here. It's easier to turn around and do it, to tell you the truth. And, but again, for Saturday, I'm thinking about Halloween, but kind of really want to continue with the Christmas in July kind of thing. And a couple ideas there. But whatever you want, just let me know. And, you know, I read the comments and I'll take a look and put something together for you really quick there. Okay, so we got this cut out. And then we got our pears. So the next thing we really want to do is figure out which panel we want to use. And if I was live, I would have you take a vote, but I'm not live. So we are going to wing it. And I'm only going to pop one pair on because one doesn't have the backing to the stamped dimensional on it. And this one's going to go that way. Okay, yes, no. And let's look at this one. You know, let's do something different, okay? Because we're done. Now I know what I'm going to do. Okay, ribbon. Next thing I want to do, and I'm still going to use this Darling Duckling. Is it Darling Duckling or Daffodil Delight? Daffodil Delight. Darling Duckling is in the Sweet, it's a color in the Sweet Collection, but you know what? They're close enough. And so it works. Now you want to make sure that your ribbon's straight there when you pop it down or when you put it through that hole. And you want to put the loop in. I always have to get a tool to do this because the hole's a little bit smaller. You want to put the end that you have the loop through down that, or, you know, through the hole like that. And that way you can pull it over in the front and you get, like, you know, that cute little accent there. And then I am just going to snip these real quick and get that off there. And we're going to be ready to go. So to get all this down, I am just going to get, ooh, do I want to turn it over? It's not oriented right, but no, I don't. Make sure my card's going to open there at the top. Get some liquid adhesive down there. And I know a lot of people like to call it green glue. And these panels here, they are 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Both of them that I'm laying down. And this is the embossed one. I'm running out of glue. And then we want to pop this on and orient it more so towards the right. This one's towards the left. Get that on, make sure your card is straight. And I want to pop down this guy next, or this panel. So we're going to pull the tear and tape off of that. And this, you know, you want your corrugated end towards it, or at least I do. However you decide to put it together is really up to you. And since this is 4 1/4 across, it's pretty easy to get down top to bottom, left to right. Okay, got that down. More stamped dimensionals for this. And where did I put them? Okay, they're on my desk. So we're going to pop a few on the back. Of this tag. And this is why this entire card front is flat up here, because I need this so I can make the images and the tag, more dimensional. I'm gonna put one down in the middle there just because, there's nothing worse than saggy middles, right? Take a peek, make sure you can see me, and you can, we're good. Now I know that this may be a busy card for a lot of you, but you know what? Remove some layers. You don't have to do all that embossing if you don't want it, and just, keep it simple. I have an awful lot of white there, and I feel like I have to mix it up a little bit. And honestly, I do this all the time. I cheat. And how I do that is I'm gonna grab a paintbrush real quick because it really, whoa, where did it go? Okay, it fell down by my feet. Yeah, I'm just like all cluttered. I'm klutzy, okay. I need something in there to split it up. Now, since there is maybe a hint of gold in the Suite collection from a lot of our Christmas products we have left over, like the gold, what was that ink pad called? I still have it. Let me look real quick. Anything blingy, Christmassy? Oh, the Delicata. This stuff. And the refills, I keep it, okay? It's in the foil, glimmer paper. It's always going to come back around, no matter what. I wouldn't call it cheating. I would call it shopping my stash, okay? Which is a big thing. And believe me, I do it all the time. Now, what's kind of messed up about this a little bit, and I can fix it, is, let's see how I'm going to do this without trashing my work area. Well, it'll wipe right up. I'll be fine. I'm going to pop that down like right about there because I don't want it on. You know what? Forget it. I'm going to shake up some paint I have. Just get a little brush there. And this is gold paint, and I'm just going to dip it in and splatter it on there. And then I did it to our sample card too. See right there? And you can see what a huge, to me it makes a huge difference. And I can go back, and since this will not stick, because I do still one stamp. See, there's already splatters there. You could use early espresso if you wanted. Exact same thing. I just wanted gold. Okay, so I'm going to set all this aside and hoping that won't trash my brush too much. And once I move this mess out of the way, you will really, really, really be able to tell the difference and see how it just really helps to take up some beigeness there. And you know what? I didn't do the tag, but that can be done. Good thing I had some left over. Okay, so we got that down. And yeah, I want this one on top. We're going to pull the Stampin' Dimensionals off that. Gonna pop this guy right about there. And then pull these off. Now I have gold paint all over the place, but it's okay. It's an easy cleanup. Oh my gosh. I think I put too many Stampin' Dimensionals on there. I hope you can see. And I'm gonna peek real quick. Are we looking good for time? Oh my gosh, 29 minutes. No, we're not. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. And we're going to get that guy down. And next thing is going to be Stampin' Initials on the back of our sentiment. And I really hope that these aren't too big. They're not too big. You just got to watch your top to bottom. Pop one right down there in the middle. Get those off, and I still want to add a little teeny tiny gem in there. We're going to get this down. Okay, I need a point of reference here. Since my panels are on an angle, I want to make sure that that's straight. Got it down, and I'm going to bring in some of these Painterly Pears, and this is going to be in that cute little darling duckling color. Just one is all you need. You know, because I got the threes in there, the rule of threes. And that is going to be it for this card. So let me know what you think. You know, I'll probably end up tying this a little bit just so it's neater. And this is what our other card looks like. So I think these are great Christmas cards to do, super easy. And I thank you for joining me again today. Let me know what you want for next video. You know, Paper Pumpkin will be coming in a couple of weeks, or maybe, you know, when I get it, since I'm doing Wednesday and Saturday vids now. You like Wednesday or Saturday or Tuesday and Friday? I think Tuesday and Friday are easier for me. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. Follow me on social media. And definitely sign up for my newsletter. I'm really good about communicating in that. And I will see you again on Saturday for another video.